water flows. Hi, Raymond.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm okay. How was your holiday?
Oh, by God's grace, you survived.
Oh, you make it sound like it was an ordeal. Is that how much you hate not being at work?
They say that if you have the money, it's holiday. But if you don't have the money, they are ordinary days.
Just another day.
Yes.
Is it so painful staying at home?
Oh, I mean, a large part of it was I was too busy. I didn't feel any holiday.
Okay. So that's where that's coming from.
Yes. The headache was not really.
All right, I see why the reaction. Well, so is this your Monday or your Tuesday?
Or your wife had to work, so you were home alone. Your wife had to work, so you were home alone.
I heard you say Monday.
Yes, I did.
It is his Monday.
And
Don't blame
with
me.
some boldness.
As far as I'm concerned.
But I thought this was a recorded show, so I have to be sure. Say, Papa Nana. Only I don't know.
Boom.
Well, listen, guys, let's go for a Drive Safe campaign. It's brought to you by Joy News and Multimedia Group, supported by Toyota Superior Quality and Imperial General Assurance. Solid protection. Avoid all distractions. Keep both eyes on the road and hands on the steering wheel. Wherever you're going today, drive safe.
Let's learn how to say it right. Brought to us by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say either.
How do you pronounce this word? Deposit. It's deposit. Some people say deposit, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, thankfully, we now know how to say it right. To be fair, it is a rather odd-sounding English word, isn't it? It originates from the Latin depositus, which is the past participle of the verb deponere, meaning to lay aside or put away. There are two words involved here, de, which means away, and ponere, which means to put or place. And from that, we now have deposit, which in modern English means a sum of money paid into a financial institution or an amount paid in advance as a first installment or a pledge. Now, I'd better go deposit myself in the studio for the news review. Yep. All right.
That's how you say it right.
Let's get into the newspapers now. Brought to us by Enterprise Insurance. Wumu Motor Promotion. Enterprise, your advantage. Where are we starting?
Let's start with the Daily Guidance reporting this morning. Professor Frimpong, what his report? Personal grievances. This is the presidency speaking there. And there was a letter that was issued with some very interesting, even before there's any completion of an investigation or so. They say that he did not back it with concrete evidence. He just submitted a list of personal grievances against people. So that is why we are where we are today. But I think if the presidency had written very early, he would have responded to that one too. Yes, because those who issued earlier, especially Gabi Asare-Ochodaku, who categorically spoke to the matter and made very.
But it's never too late.
Yeah.
I'm sure he can chip in a quick response if he feels it's needed. I do find it interesting, though, that the presidency says this was an informal report, so they decided to do nothing. Is that what it means?
Well, because it didn't say that it was to be delivered to the president.
Did they read it? No, it was given to the chief of staff. So
exactly.
Did
but
the chief of staff read it?
So
it doesn't say. It says it wasn't.
So if the chief of staff read it,
assuming he's even the whistleblower, is that how we treat matters of?
Right?
Are you serious?
If the chief of staff read it, what went into her decision to do nothing?
On perhaps the most important issue at the time, you have a report on it. Say that this report is not tagged properly. Yeah, it's not urgent and personal straight to the president.
You get back to them and say, look, if you want us to take action, please, you need to put it in this format. But here's another important question. The Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining.
Yeah.
When they finished their work, did they issue a formal report to anyone?
That's a good question.
Where is it? If that report exists, are its contents different from this one?
To the extent that we actually dissolved the interministerial committee, cabinet level committee,
Yes.
to actually set up a deputy ministerial committee of a sort. When cabinet level seriously, the more you talk about these things, the only conclusion you can come to is that this charade is bigger than we thought. This pretense that let's put military people on the ground, let some of them get into difficulty, and let some of them struggle to fight Galamsey was a complete hoax. In fact, it's more like a movie, where you just have to make it appear that you want to do something about the situation.
And you know what?
I want to make a call to the police.
And even to the ministers, even to these ministers, it was unfair to them because the entire idea was that we're going to fight it. So anytime you are put in charge of it, you think that you are fighting a Galamsey anyway.
I think the police, they owe us an update. The last time Professor Frimpong Boateng spoke to the GBC, the president directed them to investigate the CIA.
When you have a
so
report,
now we want to know
comprehensive report before you wait for the man to go and sit on radio first before you realize that there is a report or there is something that is worth investigating.
So we, the people of Ghana, we want to know what the police is exactly investigating and where are they with the investigations, because
so
the presidency
named,
directed them.
How many of them can the police go and call and actually arrest? You tell me, Gabi, or the other people that have been named in this report. Seriously.
Well, we were told that police actually invited Professor Frimpong Boateng to assist them in their investigations. We need an update, Ghana Police Service.
Well, I'm sure by now he had mentioned the same set of names. Who would they be invited to? Anyway, Frimpong Boateng's report is the first story I did there. Africa is ready for business. This is the vice president speaking there. And Killer Cop busted here, and that's also the front page. But this terrible story coming from Kumasi, right, where they say the man is married, but side chick caused a lot of headache, so he turned out to go and kill the person. I mean, you are engaged
allegedly.
Yes, an illegal activity. In all fairness, you have absolutely no moral right to even make further demands. But the police is investigating this. The man has been arrested. And there's another one where police grab Azim Galamsey man. They have put some 4 people here. And the Azim Galamsey man, that story that became popular because the police was actually looking for a gentleman who was having radio interviews. Yes, the police was still looking for him. Yeah. And Major Mahama killed protecting Galamsey's site. This is a quote from the current case in court. That case has also been running for a very long time.
Yep.
And the late Major Muhammad's picture is on the front page of the Daily Guide. So there are Galamsey stories on the front page of the Daily Guide today.
All right, the Ghanaian Times newspaper is reporting improving living conditions of Ghanaians. Government vows to do more. Vice President assures at 8 prayers. Comes with a photograph of Dr. Baumia interacting with Sheikh Osman Nuhu Sharubutu, the National Chief Imam. Also, Asian African Consortium Partners UCC to boost grain production in Ghana and absorb cancer treatment cost nationwide. A call by Dr. Sakis appealing to government to absorb the cost of all cancer treatments in the country. According to the principal medical physicist at the National Radiotherapy, Oncology and Nuclear Medicine Center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Theophilus Saki was crucial to limiting the exposure of patients to quacks and unsafe treatments that often lead to complications and loss of lives. And on the back of that, I'd like to remind all of you, we had fun with the Pop Chain All-Star concert. Something big is happening tomorrow. We have a screening, breast cancer awareness and screening deba tomorrow in the central region. It will happen at the Jumako Enyan Isiam district. That's on Thursday, not Wednesday. Thursday. So I'll come back here on Friday and give you all an update.
We cannot wait.
Well, let's get to the chronicle for this morning. Exodus chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent. The leaked Galamsey report upon Nkrumah Ross says Frimpong Boateng is shifting the goalpost as the heart surgeon fires another salvo. That's how the chronicle captures it. I'm sure we know, that particular story. Murray cries for help as tidal waves ravage town, and $3 billion IMF bailout can be sourced from the Western region. That's according to Alan John, Kojo chairman team.
How?
Well, you have all the resources in this country. There's a conversation we've been having. The last time I heard Dr. Dufo saying cassava alone can save us. We say a lot of things in this country. I only hope, when people want to be president, they say a lot of good things. We've had, and I've listened to Alan Chamantin talk about the Great Transformation Plan, GTP, how he intends to do things differently. Well, we'll see if the delegates give him a chance. We'll see whether Ghanaians would also give him a chance. But also on the front page, how a pregnant woman's attacker escaped from jail at Manet Police Station. And the story on page 2 says that information gathered by the Chronicle indicate that Pius Ayuma, who's an alleged robber, broke jail at the Manet Police Station after attacking a pregnant woman, but he cut through the iron bars of the cell to escape. That's also
at
on
a
the
police
front
station.
Yes, also on the front page. And we won't pop bottles. Napoli on brink of title. That's Napoli. And Chelsea are closing in on Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino is almost coach. He would take you to the final and bam, you lose.
Say almost.
almost there kind of coach. But Eric Ten Hag, confident of overcoming Manchester City in the FA Cup final. I told you yesterday that Man City will finish them. Agbena. So we are doing the double. Domestic, the cup double. Manchester United. Next season we are winning the Premiership.
So why do I feel like you shouldn't be talking?
I am talking.
Like just be quiet.
I am talking.
And win it and
I am talking.
let's celebrate.
Listen, since everybody is talking about this Galamsey report, this is the very latest in. Lawyers for Roxanne Nelson Daffy-Amepo have petitioned Shraj to look into the allegations of corruption, conflict of interest, and abuse of public office that were highlighted in this report. So, let me see if I can quote some part of it. Okay, so basically it says, the Interministerial Committee, our client informs us that a report of the IMCIM dated 19th March 2021 and confirmed to have been authored by Prof. Frimpong Boateng cites various public officials and other individuals for corruption, conflict of interest, and abuse of public office. And then they quote specific parts of the report, and then they call on Shraj to look into not only Prof. Frimpong Boateng, but also allegations made by Charles Bissiou against Professor Frimpong Boateng.
It will be interesting how Shraj would describe the document as informal. Interesting to see.
Now, the Finder has these stories. Primpack BOG Media Workshop didn't discuss Professor Frimpong Boateng, and that's according to the Information Minister. And division erupts among two individual bondholder groups, and that it was in the 6 a.m. story. The
6 a.m. news?
Yes. The association is accusing the forum, especially convener of the forum, Senor Jose, of being too comfortable with government. And they are also shooting back and saying, but they have left the technical committee anyway. All right. So that's what's been happening with the people who are fighting. All of this is because when the finance minister promised to pay, he doesn't pay. These conversations would have been happening. I'm sure this forum would have even been in existence if the matter had kept to his timelines and paid whenever he said he was going to pay.
But these are all people who are owned by governments.
Yes.
And then they are divided.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because they think some people are having a very wonderful conversation with government instead of being a bit more, demanding. And 44.6% of Ghanaians insured. Confidence in industry rises from 60 to 78%. And it's been explained that cumbersome insurance claim is due to high incidence of fraud. There was a lawyer who burnt his own car and sought to claim insurance on it in this country. You remember that case? Yes. And police arrest. Oh, Winston, you don't remember the case?
Oh, I remember. Go ahead.
Yeah, the way you are looking at me. Police arrest Kwame Atuasari and 3 others. And the Standard Board chair, top officials have been cited for contempt. This one related to the arrest. The Standards Authority Board chair. And top officials, they've been cited for contempt because they have not reinstated some members of staff that they actually sacked.
Oh.
And the court asked them to reinstate
them. And they have not done
and they have not done that.
So cited for contempt. Cited.
Okay.
All right.
I've got the Economic Times here, and the Economic Times says, look, domestic debt exchange program, banks have up to 2025 to restore minimum paid up capital. Industry records over 15 billion loss in 2022. Let me underline the 15 billion loss. That as a result of the debt exchange, the financial sector has lost 15 billion in 2022 alone. Now, it should be noted that
15 billion.
Yes, 15 billion according to this report. But let me just add something.
Just the Financial Stability Fund, right?
Yeah, that's the
15
Financial
billion.
Stability Fund.
Yeah.
But watch this critically. Now, because it spreads, and sometimes you go onto 2038, there are bonds that you probably were expecting, maturity next year or next 2 years. It just won't end in 2022. In all years that you were expecting certain profits also, you'd have to impair those profits. And so the impact will be very severe. You've heard government say they actually saved 32 billion this year alone. Their savings. So who's bearing that?
Good question.
That's it on the front page. GT Bank to slow lending, bond trading in Ghana records 77 million loss. And you've seen a lot of the
Is
Nigerian...
that an effect?
Yes, it is. You've seen a lot of the Nigerian banks, actually indicating their loss as a result of the domestic debt exchange program. We need to have a conversation about this. The cost of the domestic debt exchange program. It's one of the things we don't do, so we just, continue talking. But if we don't put a cost to it, we wouldn't know how the mismanagement of the economy affects all. Let's get to the online news review.
Let's do that. It's brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy.
And of course, Goyle is your oil marketing company of choice. It keeps making life ever so convenient. Just pay by Momo when you stop by Goyle fuel stations. You can also pay with your bank card. All bank cards really you can use to buy fuel at Goyle. So drive to the nearest Goyle station now, buy your fuel and pay by Momo bank card or Goyle Go card. Visit the Goyle social media platforms: Facebook Goyle.official, Instagram is Goyle_GH, and Twitter Goyle_official. That's where you can get more information on the service stations. You can conveniently use Momo. Goyle Good Energy. Goyle. Yeah, dim.
All right, now you have a pixelated view of Galamsey, Brofo. Prof. Rimpombwating responds to Gabi. And Gabi's not the only one he's responded to. All those stories are on myjoyonline.com. Also, on the domestic debt exchange, IBAG recuses itself from Finance Ministry's committee over pain and despair on bondholders. Also, some advice from Prof. Boating to Kojo Nkrumah. He says, work diligently and avoid the coded and evil tactics. Details of his response to Kojo Nkrumah.
There's a good story at Tumold building that structure for Adisadel College. Family sold his luxury cars.
Yes.
It's a good inspirational story.
Indeed. Pictures of the dormitory that has been built in his name as well. Yeah.
All right, so I think we can go for the BBC News now.
Yes, we can.
And it's brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans.